My family and I were living in Santa Cruz, a block away from the boardwalk. Living in a tourist town like that had its downsides, but being so close to the beach also had its perks. We walked a lot because we were close to everything, and traffic was bad from all the tourists. We decided to take an afternoon walk to get our daughter some ice cream and stroll around after that. We had our stroller, so we were good to walk a few miles around the San Lorenzo River. We were used to seeing the homeless population on every other corner, and we avoided those areas because they did a lot of drugs. Long story short, my wife was attacked a couple of times by some homeless people. I was personally spat at and yelled at, so we knew which areas to avoid and at what time. We got the ice cream and started heading back on the trail when we heard the sounds of a young child crying. It was coming from the grassy field next to the San Lorenzo Park. We saw a boy. We thought maybe he was upset he had to leave, but as we listened closely, the crying just stayed the same. We didn't hear or see his parents. We didn't hear or see anyone else. It freaked our daughter out. It was getting dark, and the area had no street lights. I walked closer and saw the boy, who appeared to be 10, standing in the middle of the field, just crying with his head down. My wife called out to him to ask if he was okay, if he was hurt. She also asked where his parents were. We flashed our lights on him and around him, but he was alone. He just kept crying. I assumed he didn't hear us. I slowly stepped closer to him with my flashlight on his feet, not to blind him. I noticed he wasn't wearing a sweater, shoes, or anything to keep himself warm, and it was winter, so I knew he was cold. I stood a couple feet away from him and asked if he was hurt. I told him my wife and I were concerned and will call someone he needs. I asked, "What are your parents' names? Can I call them for you?" He sobbed and wiped his tears. I handed him my scarf and gloves. He said, "I'm cold, I'm scared, I'm lost." I immediately felt so sad. I couldn't explain the feeling, but it almost felt as if I was lost. I felt a deep fear that I couldn't figure out because a few seconds ago, I was feeling concerned, not fear. "I'm here to help. My wife and I just want to help. See, we have a child too. I'm sure your parents must be worried. Can I call them for you? Do you know their numbers? If not, tell me their names and we can have the police help. They're good at that," I explained. My wife called out that she is calling the police because the kid looked pale and she was worried he was out there for a long time. I turned to look at her and signaled thank you. When I turned back to tell the kid that help was coming to get him safe and warm, he was gone. My scarf was the only thing left where he was standing. I called out, "Hey kid, help is on the way. Please don't wander around. It's not safe." Not a sound. No footsteps running in the wet grassy field. No sobbing. Nothing. I heard my wife explaining the situation and the fear in her voice as she knew how crazy it sounded. "I don't know. He must have ran away when we called you. It was only a second." I slowly walked back to my wife and daughter. The fear I felt was gone. I don't know who that kid was, but if he's listening, I'm sorry I couldn't help you.